Well, now that we've got people trying to turn this conventional war into a nuclear war, pushing people to the wall so they end up using new technologies that are nuclear capable. Most things are nuclear capable. However, this is specifically frightening and dangerous, the use of this new intermediate range nuclear capable missile with multiple independent reentry vehicles that are capable of themselves dropping submunitions, which themselves could be small nuclear devices in the future. We got very lucky. We got very lucky that what we had was basically just a demonstration. I hope people were paying attention. But it brought me back to a video I'd seen a while back. It's called Unsurvivable, and I'll link it in the video, of course. But the first 6 to 13 minutes, we're just going to go a few minutes into it so you can get kind of a feel for it. It's very good, very factual. It definitely lays things out. It coincides with the Annie Jacobson book that I mentioned in a previous video. This is a scary time. We need to be paying attention. Here's a few minutes of Unsurvivable.
It would come as a surprise. The secure communication system transmitting to the Ohio-class U.S. submarine fleet would be the first to receive the command. Patrolling both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, they are undetected. Fourteen of the 18 warships are equipped with 24 Trident missiles each, Trident 1s and Trident 2s. The remaining 4 are armed with 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles, which can be outfitted with nuclear warheads.
That's just the American fleet. The Russian fleet is very substantial and has equally frightful weapons. One of their newest ones, the Poseidon autonomous nuclear torpedo, is one of the scariest things you could possibly imagine. We don't know what size warhead it carries, but it is designed to specifically create a nuclear tsunami. So a wave of water completely irradiated washes over a city, a harbor, port facilities, making it completely unusable for God knows how long. That's just one weapon system. This doesn't include what we saw the other day. More creative ways to destroy us all. How wonderful. We continue.
The fleet as a whole represents half of the United States' strategic thermonuclear capability.
The other portion of that, of course, being the missiles in their silos in the western United States, and the bombers, our B-52s, B-1s, and B-2s, and soon to be B-21s. Also, most people don't think about this, but every F-15, F-16, F-22, F-35, F-18 in the fleet, pretty much everything is nuclear capable. Again, you gotta have a more creative way of destroying us all. Continuing.
A single Trident II missile is equipped with up to 8 nuclear warheads aboard a multiple independently targetable reentry vehicle, or MIRV. A single W-88 warhead delivers the equivalent of 475 kilotons of TNT.
Russian similar weapon systems have very similar explosive ranges.
In the case of a full deployment, the United States could unleash over 400 such missiles with between 6 and 8 warheads each. From the time of launch, it can take less than 10 minutes for an SLBM to reach its target, or as little as 5 minutes if it is flown on a depressed trajectory.
According to reports, from time of launch to the impact of the submunitions from the MIRVs and the attack on Dnipro was approximately 5 minutes. Now, they did warn the United States 30 minutes ahead of time. We do have that report in the news. But you're not stopping it. As you've seen from the videos, which are everywhere, this is serious. And if they had the big boys and not just standard,
this allows a very short margin for reaction.
I think it's worth pointing out that in Annie Jacobson's book, Nuclear War, A Scenario, she states that it's, I believe, 6 or 7 minutes. That's the window. There's no more time after that. Launch on warning, 6 or 7 minutes. To basically the fate of the human race. I highly recommend her book. It's available on Audible. Annie Jacobson, Nuclear War, A Scenario. Enjoy the nightmare.
Early warning radar systems in Russia, China, and elsewhere immediately detect the missile plume. They can determine the trajectory and intended target of the missiles.
Although we don't know the capabilities of the Chinese system, we do know that the Russian system is not as capable as ours and takes a little bit longer to determine all those things that were stated. Impact point, time of impact. In that time, there is time for error.
Minutes fracture into seconds. This is not a test. This is not scheduled. Russian nuclear command and control systems, carried over from the Soviet era, leave little time to opt out or delay a full-fledged response. Within 50 seconds, the missile has peaked above the Earth's atmosphere. It reaches its top speed. The engine drops off. The bus releases multiple warheads as well as decoys. The radar systems on the ground are overwhelmed and unable to differentiate the two when they are in post-boost phase.
Which I think was part of the message being sent yesterday. We can overwhelm you in many ways, one of which is that we can simply shower you with so many submunitions that your radar would not be able to lock onto a single one. And your interceptors may be able to hit 1 of 36. In the videos, you're able to see that it's 6 submunition packages from 6 multiple independent reentry vehicles. So 36 independent munitions. One interceptor can take out one target. It does not have multiple capabilities. One missile, one interceptor for one submunition. That's what we're looking at. And if this was nuclear, any one of those 36 could be the nuke. Most of them would likely be decoys. But it's likely going to get through. The world has changed.
Re-entering the atmosphere, the decoys burn off, and the warheads enter their terminal phase. It will be less than 180 seconds before they touch down.
And for most people, that's all you would see, is the flash. You'd see virtually nothing else. You may not feel anything else. But you have about 6 to 12 minutes, anywhere in there, depending on where you are on the continent. Crazy to think about. That we are getting closer to a world where that percentage chance continues to rise. We just need to be made aware of it and what it actually is capable of. I believe that is the Castle Bravo explosion. The Castle Bravo explosion was the largest nuclear explosion ever detonated by the United States. I believe it was 21 megatons, which is, if you do the math, roughly 20 times more powerful than the ones that were spoken of previously in this video at 400 to 500 megatons. Kilotons, I'm sorry, 400 to 500 kilotons. The largest ever detonated was Zarbamba at 62 megatons, I believe, or 57 or 60, one of the two. It's one of those two. But either way, we don't need to mess with any of that. The numbers add up to us going extinct. We need to pull back from the brink. We need cooler heads to prevail. It's my hope that President Trump and President Putin and President Zelensky can get together and get something on the board and cool tensions. Because this is the last thing in the world we need. Because there is nothing after this. Stay sour.